Within the genre of horror, there is something for everyone to fear. Rather you are rattled by things of fantasy, vampires, werewolves, or rather you watch through your fingers as strange cries wail through the halls, or rather you hide behind a pillow every time the masked killer jumps out with his signature killing weapon. There is something within the genre to strike a nerve. But what happens if what you are afraid of, most don't consider very frightening? In fact, most embrace it fully. While most sought after it, you, on the other hand, are repulsed by it. Repulsion. This criminally underrated 1965 film by Roman Polanski is, in my opinion, among the most frightening. I have shared this movie with many, claiming it as one of the scariest movies I have ever seen, and I am always curious if those who see it agree. And it is the carefully crafted work of Polanski and his ability to allow tension to quietly sneak into otherwise normal situations before pulling the rug out from under you and having you stare face up at genuine horror. This film has inspired me for years with its ability to mix a well-done character study with horror. The main character is consistently interesting, for the horrors she faces extend from a less common place than many of the viewers may be familiar with. Granted, some viewers may find it all very relatable, which also brings the horrors seen here on both sides of the coin to a grim reality. Meet Caroline, played by Catherine Deneuve, a young woman who is beautiful and works in the field of beauty as well. Caroline is unhappy though, and suffers from something little to no one around her could possibly understand. Being young and beautiful, having beautiful friends and co-workers, a beautiful sister, and gentlemen desire to be around her. Caroline, however, is repulsed by this. She is disinterested at work.
Stop dreaming.
Misunderstood in a world of vanity.
I think you must be in love or something.
Her closest friends cannot relate to her problems.
You know, you really don't look well. Is it a man? A man?
Her sister thinks men and sex is often the answer to happiness, and cannot advise Caroline.
Carl, please.
The men that seek Caroline, while friendly to her, cannot separate genuine care from visual lust, only worsening Caroline's issue the more she is pursued. Caroline is not unfriendly, she is just lost in a dark world that only she can feel and see, and no one seems to want to help, because they are oblivious to what she is going through.
Come on.
There are moments in the film that suggest Caroline has always been like this. Therefore, the personal torment of hers has taken its toll, and she can very well verge on insanity. She is repulsed by men. Relations, and physical affection, most of all it seems. Feeling very awkward around her sister, whom she lives with, and her sister's boyfriend, who visits frequently. When he is over, he does things that she finds disgusting, such as leaving his toothbrush in a glass on the sink that belongs to her, a detail that her sister chooses to ignore.
Laughing. Why does he put his toothbrush in my glass?
A man that wishes to get to know her more is persistent.
Are you playing hard to get? I've been waiting over an hour.
What for?
Well, not for Christmas. We made a date, remember? We're having supper tonight.
And while she does spare him passing moments, you can almost feel her skin crawl every time he approaches the subject of an actual date.
Well, what about tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah, let's dinner tomorrow. I'll meet you at the Hoop and Toy, you know, pub along there. But, 7?
She simply cannot relate to anyone, and therefore is trapped in a small, isolated plane of existence that seems to be cracking at the seams, literally. At least for her. She often seems to see things that may or may not actually be there, and this is when we begin to realize what she faces is a deeper and more unsettling situation that immediately meets the eye.
I must get this crack mended. What?
Then, like a storm on a horizon, we begin to see where Caroline's issues and the carelessness of those around her begin to take a foreboding form and threaten to touch down. Her sister decides to go out of town on a holiday with her boyfriend, leaving Caroline alone in the small apartment for almost 2 weeks. Caroline asks her not to go more than once.
Are you still going away?
Oh, darling, please don't start that again.
But her sister does not even take a moment to consider the circumstance, nor the possible consequence.
Yes, I'm coming.
After her sister has left, the movie takes a hideous turn, and as we spend the following days with Caroline, those cracks in the seams of her reality are not only growing larger for her, but they become visible for us as well. And this is only the beginning. Her repulsion spirals into a form of unadulterated madness. She becomes overwhelmed with paranoia, stress, and begins moving full steam towards a breaking point. The walls crack, the rooms contort. She seems to lose track of time, missing work, wandering aimlessly. She imagines being attacked by male intruders, growing her sense of fear and symbolizing her greatest phobias taking a literal form for her. The lines of reality and illusion blur as Caroline descends into a place of pure torment for her. The once quaint apartment widens, stretches, and darkens into a maze-like labyrinth. Everything that has frightened her previously becomes more constant and exaggerated. In tonight's scene, when Caroline's torment reaches far beyond any grasp she may have had, it leads to a moment that the first time I saw genuinely surprised me, even within a film that had already kept me on guard throughout. When you begin to realize the apartment is without a doubt changing, Caroline begins walking around in what almost seems to just be a dream-like tour, letting us take a walk with her in her new home of dementia. within its calm state of an almost blissful confusion, the sudden hands from the shadows are alarming, showing that no matter where she is in her delusions, a more sadistic and immediate fear is never far away. Something I love about this movie, and in particular, scenes like these. The film warns us to never let our guard down, and yet, the film is also so great at making us put our guard down. Another Dirty Trick by Roman Polanski. The surrealness, the atmospheric music, the lonely feeling of its black and white cinematography, all lend a hand, or hands, into taking us into the mindset of a person that most of us would admittedly have a hard time understanding. Polanski was very good at this, and he showed us an inspiring way to craft a masterful take on pulling us into the psyche of someone's very real form of terror. Even if it was only for 2 weeks, until your roommates come home, and you undeniably have some explaining to do.